Hello, and welcome to Every Persona Explained, where we take a look at the origin and representation of every persona. I'm your host, Winwright, and today we're taking a look at Alice. Alice is based on, no points for guessing, the main character from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass in What Alice Found There. These stories were written by Lewis Carroll, an 18th century English novelist, and all of these things. Initially, they were the stories he told to the children of his friend Henry George Little, who was a dean and also wrote an important lexicography, but the only thing we care about here are his children, especially his daughter Alice. Yep, Carroll's Alice is, loosely, based on a real person, Alice Little. Carroll eventually wrote down some of the stories for the children and, after that, was convinced to publish it. And while it faced some initial hesitation, it's been seen as an absolute classic in children's literature. Now, Carroll's Alice is a kind, gentle, curious girl, which doesn't really mesh with the persona. So, why is that? Well, it's because I lied and she's not based on Alice in Wonderland, she's based on a character from the first Shin Megami Tensei game. Bazinga! This Alice was a ghost zombie thing that you encountered that gave you a quest, only to fight you afterwards, asking you to die for her. So there's the Alice in Wonderland inspirations, and that's great, but I don't think I need to go over that part. Alice falls into Wonderland where she has many wacky adventures. She hangs out with a bunch of psychopaths, almost gets executed, gets abducted by the forces of darkness, all the classic stuff. So what about the other part of her inspiration? So to try to summarize the plot of Shin Megami Tensei, the protagonist, aka Protag-kun, lives in Tokyo and gets the ability to summon/control demons through an app in his computer. Neat idea. About the same time as this, a demon invasion starts to happen in the real world. Things go wrong and Protag-kun gets magically time-skipped 30 years to the future to find that global nuclear war happened, and now there are demons everywhere. In this atomic hellscape, Protag-kun makes his way to Roppongi, where he meets Alice. She, along with her uncles, rule Roppongi, and she asks Protag-kun to play with her. Well, it turns out her uncles are actually Belial and Nibiros, who killed everyone in Roppongi and keeps their souls there so Alice can play with them. Damn, that's dark. And that's Alice, part Disney princess, part absolute night terror. So how is she represented in game? This design is fantastic. For the Alice in Wonderland inspiration, the original story was supplemented by illustrations by one John Tenniel, and the similarities are obvious. As for the blue color, it's probably because of Disney. And she's nearly identical to the SMT character she's based on. And then there's the duology. I don't know what's going on in Innocent Sin. It looks like she has bird wings on her head for some reason. Eternal Punishment is fine, just not as iconic. She also has a goth form in that game for some reason. Alice is in the Lover's Arcana in the duology, and Death in everything after that. Lovers doesn't fit at all, but Death does, because, evil ghost zombie thing. Oh, and in P1 she's a fiend. As far as I'm aware, in P1 Alice isn't a demon you can recruit, so she wasn't given an Arcana. But the fiend race, like in past SMT games, is full of characters that are evil or somehow related to death. Again, evil ghost girl, that tracks. Her movesets are wild. In P1 her moves are kind of just annoying and don't seem to have any real references or inspiration in them. In Innocent Sin, she gets an insta-kill dark move and another move called Another Dimension, which is also an insta-kill move, but maybe a reference to the Alice in Wonderland story, where Alice seemingly goes to another world, and also in SMT, where Protag-kun is sent through time, ending up in seemingly another dimension. Eternal Punishment has a bigger move pool, but doesn't add anything of note. P3 kicks it up a notch with the whole evil murder ghost child with her signature move, Die For Me. A dark insta-kill move, which is also a reference to her initial appearance, along with the moves Mudo Boost, Spirit Drain, and Evil Touch to really hammer it home. And from then on, there's a lot of overlap. Dark moves, often insta-kill ones, and her signature. She also gets almighty moves in everything after one for some reason. One move she doesn't get is Vorpal Blade, which is a very blatant Alice in Wonderland reference. But knowing what we know now, it's not that surprising she doesn't get it. She has a unique trait called Just Die, which reduces the cost of insta-kill moves to 0, which is wild, as it just makes her signature move free. In P3P, she gives a skill card for Mudo Boost, and in P5, she gives a card for Mamudun, both matching her themes. However, in Royal, she gives either the Spiral Hell Ring, giving whomever equips it Mamudun, or the unique item, Cursed Ribbon, an accessory that gives the move Demonic Decree. This move, which used to be called Hell's Judgment, cuts the target's HP in half. Alice is OP! Overall, this is fantastic representation. The way they took a famous and beloved literary character and made it the base for an evil zombie monster is unorthodox, but it worked really well, since Alice is in every Persona game, and in more than 20 SMT games. And according to the wiki, she's the second most popular demon in the series, right behind Mara. Ugh. Were you expecting Evil Murder Demon Child? Because I wasn't expecting Evil Murder Demon Child. I knew that Alice's dark moves were kind of weird, but I thought, oh, maybe once I read the books, they'll be like darker themes or darker tones, and that's where it'll come from. No, just Evil Murder Demon Child. Let's just say I was surprised by this fact. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know who you want to see next, and I'll see you next time on Every Persona Explained.